You know, in the time it takes you to watch this, a dozen new apps are going to launch. And that new software you just learned, it's probably already being updated. But what if the most important tech skills have nothing to do with specific technology at all? Today, we're going to dig into the real foundational skills that'll keep you ahead of the curve, not just for this year, but for years to come.
Does it ever feel like you're in a race you just can't win? I mean, the second you feel like you finally mastered a new tool, boom, it changes. That pressure to always be catching up is just relentless. But here's a thought. What if you're running the wrong race entirely? And this, right here, is the big idea. The secret isn't to learn every single shiny new tool that comes out. That's literally impossible. No, the real secret is mastering the thinking skills that don't have an expiration date. These are the frameworks that let you figure out any piece of tech, whether it came out yesterday or 10 years from now.
Okay, so our first pillar is the absolute bedrock of all of this, digital problem solving. And listen, this is not just for coders or IT pros, not at all. This is the skill that lets you look at any tech glitch, any broken system, and have the confidence to say, okay, I can figure this out.
This really gets to the heart of it. Your expertise in one specific app, that's got a shelf life. But your ability to think methodically, to troubleshoot something from start to finish, that's a skill that only gets more and more valuable over time. You're investing in the process, not just the product. Think of it kind of like a detective. You don't just rush onto the scene. First, you have to identify what the real problem is, not just the symptoms. Then you deconstruct it. You break that overwhelming mystery down into smaller, solvable clues. And finally, you solve each little piece one by one, logically. This three-step approach works for everything, from a messed-up spreadsheet formula to debugging code. It's how you turn chaos into clarity. Our second pillar builds right on top of that problem-solving mindset. It's all about using AI intelligently. Look, AI is here and it's not going anywhere. But the future doesn't belong to people who let AI think for them. It belongs to those who use it to think better, as a tool to amplify their own intelligence.
So this slide really shows the two different paths you can take. Over on the left, you've got the passive approach, just asking for answers, consuming information. But on the right, that's where the magic is. Active use means you're treating AI like a creative partner. You're not just taking what it gives you, you're co-creating with it, using it to brainstorm, to find the holes in your own logic, and to multiply your output. That's the real game changer.
So how do you become an active AI user? Well, it really boils down to these two skills. First, there's prompting. And that's not just about asking a question. It's the art of framing the perfect query to get a brilliant response. But honestly, even more important is verification. AI can be confidently wrong. Having the wisdom to check the facts, to question the output, and to refine it with your own expertise, that is a deeply human skill that's never going to be replaced. All right, our third pillar is something that affects every single one of us, every single day. Everyday cyber safety. This is one of those skills that has officially moved out of the IT department and straight into our daily lives. I mean, just think about it for a second. Your money, your identity, your private conversations, it's all online now. So having some basic digital hygiene isn't just a good idea anymore. It's as essential as locking your front door when you leave the house. You're protecting the most valuable stuff in your modern life. Your whole digital defense is basically built on these three habits. Passwords, they're your front gate. You got to make them strong and unique. Phishing awareness, that's like your home alarm system. You have to learn how to spot the scams. And privacy, those are your curtains. You get to control who can look into your digital life. If you can master these three things, you are already so much safer than most people. Pillar number 4 is all about helping us cut through the noise to find the actual signal. It's understanding data basics. We are absolutely swimming in data every day, but this skill is about learning how to actually read it, to see the story the numbers are trying to tell you so you can make smarter decisions about, well, everything. And you really don't have to be a data scientist for this to feel like a superpower. Just look at this chart. For a second, forget the exact numbers. What's the story it's telling you? Just being able to see that trend, that pattern, that's the core skill. The ability to look past the raw numbers and see the narrative. That's what gives you a real edge, at work and in life. Okay, so we've covered digital problem solving, using AI smartly, everyday cyber safety, and understanding data. They are all absolutely critical. But there's one last ultimate skill that underpins everything else we've talked about. The one thing that actually makes all the others possible. Any guesses what it is? It's this. The fifth and final pillar, the one that really powers all the others, is having the mindset of continuous learning.
This isn't a skill you just learn once and check off a list. It's a lifelong commitment to staying curious, to embracing that things will change, and to making learning a core part of who you are.
When you boil it all down, it comes to this one word: adaptability. This is the single defining trait of people who don't just survive change, they thrive on it. The technology is always going to evolve, but the person who is always ready to adapt will simply never become obsolete.
If you only take one single thing away from all this, please let it be this right here. The most valuable tech skill you can have isn't a coding language, it's not a software program, it is quite simply learning how to learn. That's the engine that will fuel your success and relevance for decades to come.
So there you have it, the 5 pillars for a truly future-proofed life and career. The only question left is, where will you start? Looking at this foundation, which of these pillars are you going to focus on strengthening first? The choice is all yours.